Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to the High Table. And remember to click like and share and go to the channel at the High Table with David Suttoff. But let's get into business. I have a very, very special guest here. I got to get this right because she got so many names. She's trying to school me on her names. The Reverend Dr. Paula Gordon-Wyatt.
Yes.
Okay, coming from East Nashville by way of Chicago, but by way of a lot of different places. But I want to have her on. I want her on the show because she has a very interesting story. She has a testimony. She's a beautiful singer, a well sought out singer. She does a lot with the church. Obviously, she's a pastor, and she mentors young people in the industry of nursing. So she wears a lot of hats. She's a grandmother. She's a wife of over 3 decades. So suffice to say that she's busy every single day. And with the new grandbaby on the way, they add a new strand of gray hair to her head. Thank the Lord. Won't he do it?
Yes, he will.
Shout out to the grandparents out there that put in the work.
Yes.
So introduce yourself and we can get started.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am Reverend Dr. Paula Michelle Gordon-Wyatt. I'm a native Nashvilleian. I grew up here in Nashville. I grew up in East Nashville on Lishy Avenue.
Shout out to Lishy. Shout out to Lishy.
Whoop, whoop.
World famous Lishy.
Lishy Avenue. Yes. Grew up, did my, I went to Nashville Public Schools. Let's see. I did kindergarten at Glenn. And then, then those days, Nashville changed schools every couple of years.
True.
So,
Facts.
Tom Joy was 1st and 2nd grade. Jerry Baxter was 3rd and 4th. Went back to Glenn for 5th and 6th. Meigs was 7th and 8th. That's where you and I encountered each other. You were at Ewan Park. I was at Meigs. I was a cheerleader at that time.
Oh, yeah. Ghetto cheerleader. Well, no flipping. Just ghetto cartwheels. But that's a whole other story.
And then I went to East my freshman year. My parents divorced while I was at East. And my mom moved to Chicago. I moved with her. But, of course, kept a lot of my Nashville friends. Inadvertently, I graduated a year early from high school. I was supposed to came out in 1987. Unbeknownst to me, East closed in 86.
Yes.
So those friends of mine would have either had to gone to Stratford or to Maplewood.
And they did.
Right. I would have been zoned to Maplewood.
Wow. And the first day, in the first day of school, there was a fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never forget in the cafeteria. Absolutely.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
what is going on the very first day?
My very first week of school, there was a fight with me and a girl as well.
Wow.
Well,
and they y'all best friends.
Well, we're not friends.
Okay.
No. I moved to an all-white suburb. So think about being in an all-black environment all of your life.
Right.
And then high school, you're thrust into an all-white environment. And there were 6 blacks in my school.
In Chicago.
Yeah. When I came, I was number 6 out of 1,488 students.
Wow. So now I know what I want to talk about now. How about the transition from an all-black environment, Lishy, East Nashville, North First, all that, Cleveland Street, going to Chicago and being one of 6 African-American students? How was that transition?
That was a rough transition. I honestly wouldn't wish that on anybody. While my mother at that time, and my mother's deceased, many know that, but at the time my mother thought she was making the right decision, and for most part she did.
Right.
But being thrust from an all-black environment to an all-white environment that didn't mind calling you the N-word. Yeah, that wasn't a word. That was a term of endearment for us, not with the ER.
Right.
The hard,
the hard ER. Yeah.
The hard ER. And so, trying to navigate that, the first few months there were painful. I didn't have very many friends. The one friend that I did make, her dad stopped her from being my friend because I was black.
Wow.
She was a Jew, and her father did not want her to be friends with an African American.
So was that your first experience with racism?
Yes.
At that time?
Up and personal
Right,
it was.
right.
Yeah,
right,
up
right.
close in your face. That was. I think during that time, I went there. I became a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader. I actually played basketball as well. So my freshman year, I played basketball. And, you're a standout, number one. You're the only black. I was a point guard.
Okay.
I did all of those things. But, and I also sung. So I was part of the jazz ensemble. I was a part of the chorus. So I stayed my usual self.
Right.
But it was hard. I think the one highlight of my time there was the church that I belonged to, because we belonged to an African American church.
Okay.
And so then I started to depend on those friends more so than the friends that I went to school with. And I think ultimately that's what led me to graduate a year early. I hated the school.
Right. I got to get my nose to the grind and get out of there. Right.
So when I was a junior, going into my junior year, I realized Cook County had the same requirements as Davidson County.
Okay.
However, I had met those requirements within 3 years.
Unbeknownst to you.
Yeah, unbeknownst to me.
Right.
So the second semester of my junior year, I went to my guidance counselor, and I had gotten the requirements, and I started checking off everything I had. And I went to my guidance counselor, and I said, hey, I want you to put me on the list for graduation. And he was like, what? I was like, yes, they don't like me, and I don't like them, so we're good.
Right.
Just put me on the list.
Right.
I want to walk June the 8th. And he was like, well, let me check on things. So he came back not even a week later, and he's like, you're cleared to graduate if that's what you want to do. So I remember going home that day telling my mom, this was like February of 1986. Graduation was like 4 months away.
Yeah.
And I went home, I told my mom was like, there is no way you're graduating a year early. I was like, oh, yes, I am.
Right.
I had a 3.67 grade average.
Right.
And I was like, I came, I did what I need to do.
Right.
I don't want to be here anymore. I graduated, and 2 months later, I was back in Nashville.
Wow. So what was your position mentally from February to June? Were you just like, whatever, it didn't matter?
I wanted out.
Yeah.
I did. I wanted out.
Wow.
It was just me and my mom, really.
Okay.
My mom had 2 children. My brother Jeffrey had passed when I was 10.
Sorry to hear.
And so it just left me and her. Now, of course, we were my dad's second set of children. My dad had a first wife. My mom was his second wife.
Okay.
And so when she left, it was just me and her. Well, she was like, you gonna leave me by myself? I was like, yeah, deuces.
See when I see you.
I moved back to Nashville. But just to be honest, I was an angry teenager. Angry for a lot of reasons. I think partly because coming from divorced home, trying to figure out why your parents couldn't work it out.
Right.
Why you had to be separated from one parent, you're with another parent, and navigating what that looks like. I became angry for a long time.
What deservedly so? I mean, parents, as we know, you've been married. I've been married a couple of times. It's hard for kids to understand in that moment.
It is, and to be quite honest, I never fully understood things with my mom.
Okay.
Until I took care of my mom before she passed. So my mom lived with me before she passed, and that during that time, and it was about an 8-month period, me and my mom were together every day.
Got it.
And that was when my mother finally talked about things. But when you're a kid, you're looking at things through a child's eyes. You're not really seeing a lot of those adult moments that change the narrative of the relationship. And so I began to understand why she left, but I was in my 40s by then before my mom truly talked about everything. So
and I'm gonna give some perspective to that. When my dad was kind of transitioning, he became more transparent.
Yeah.
Talking, he told me he loved me. Our family, we didn't hug and kiss. That's not what we did. You know, we didn't say we loved each other. They loved by food in the refrigerator. The light come on. That's love. Okay. And that was their love language, and that's okay. Right. I knew I needed more, so when my son, when he and I talk, is, I love you, Dad. I love you. Like, I need to hear that. So I've kind of ingrained that in him. You're going to get that from me. So he says it to his mother as well. And so it's just different households. That old school way of living, of raising kids was tough on the kids.
It was. My dad was loving, and I think part of it was at the time I grew up, I was the only girl in a sea of boys. Right. So my dad had 4 boys. Wow. And so for me, I was a daddy's girl. Right. You know, always in his lap or, you know, crawling across him or anything as a kid. And my dad always, you know, he always, not always said, I love you, but it was in his mannerism with me as to how I knew that my father loved me. So I do get that. I've tried to be myself a different mother with my children to even, you know, I remember apologizing to my kids some years ago because I said, you know, I recognize as a mom, I didn't always make the right choices. Right. I didn't always say the right things, do the right things. Right. So, you know, I did tell my kids at one point, hey, I apologize for the things that I did that I didn't do, and knowing that I didn't do them correctly, and things that I should have said. Right. So,
and I found myself doing that with my son. Mm-hmm. You know, my only son, and just some, you know, it was a lot of emotional nights. I would call him in tears, like, "Hey, man, I apologize. You know what I'm saying? I apologize. I'm not with your mother. I apologize that things went the way they are." And he's so matter of fact. Dad, don't worry about it. It's good. But at some point, we're going to have another defining conversation that should be the conversation of all conversations. Like, this is it. You've got one side of it, and now let me tell you my side. Right. And then we'll go from there. Right. And I think he's old enough now to understand it's not me dissing his mother, but I have a voice. And I want to share some of the stuff that I went through.
Yeah, and I think that's what defined me in the beginning. Being raised by, you know, my mom was very vocal in Nashville. My mom was a sought-after singer. Right. So my mom sung all over Nashville.
I was going to ask where you get the voice from.
My mother. My mother was a singer, a gospel singer. Very few times did I hear her sing something that wasn't gospel. Really? And it could have been at a wedding or something like that, but it was very few and far in between. Now, not saying my mother didn't like other music, because she did. Natalie Cole was her favorite singer.
She didn't sing Rick James?
No. No.
Okay, I'm just saying, I didn't know.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
My mother was a Natalie Cole. She was a big Natalie Cole fan.
Soldier singer,
so she loves stuff like that. But I think, you know, being young, that was kind of more my defining moments, was going through my parents' divorce and trying to matriculate that early, I guess, transition into adulthood. Mm-hmm. I married early. Okay. I married when I was 20. I had no clue what I was doing. I'm just going to be perfectly honest. Some people are not transparent enough to sit here and say, yeah, I knew what I was doing. Right. The hell I didn't.
20
I'm sorry.
Is very young.
Yeah, I was 20. I was a few months from being 21.
Wow.
And 35. Now we're over 35 years in, but I was 20. Wow. And one of the things I think that kept me in my marriage was I never wanted my children to experience what I experienced.
It's tough, boy. That divorce ain't no joke, man.
Yeah, it changes your thought process to the point that you will forsake yourself.
Yes.
To ensure that they have.
Without question.
And I don't think children of today even realize some of the sacrifices that even our generation made and the generation before them made.
Do they supposed to know? I mean, we keep stuff from our kids. Do they supposed to know that it's tough in the midst of it?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they would. I think they would be much more well-rounded individuals if they did.
Okay.
Right now, the children of today, they're dependent on social media for everything.
That is true.
So we've raised social media kids that, I'm sorry, know nothing about the real world. They know what is fed to them.
True.
But until they live some of it,
right,
they don't know. But I think part of it is that, not that my parents gave me everything. I think my parents gave me a lot. But I think my parents also instilled in me that I had to go get my own.
Yeah.
And I don't think that our generation has done a good job at teaching our kids that they have to get their own.
And a friend of mine, we was talking about this the other day about doing so much for our kids. Like, when we was growing up, whatever mother cooked, that's what you ate.
Well, that didn't happen in my household.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You part of the problem. In my household, in Ella and Reggie's household, this is what we're going to eat. Now, maybe Friday you may have some insight or input, but just how we're raised. And so I want to have one. I probably want a few friends or people that have one child. A lot of people have 2, 3, 4, and all. But one is different than 3.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? So my perspective is somewhat different a little bit, you know. But it's tough, man. The world is so tough. It's so ugly that we want to shield our kids. And in the midst of that, we hinder their progress. We hinder their growth.
We do.
And what we're doing is raising children that are somewhat ill-prepared for the world, just a little bit.
They are.
You know, and how do you think we can combat that? We're all off base with this conversation, but I like it, though. I think it needs to be had.
Yeah. I think that we as parents haven't been good at setting boundaries for our kids.
Okay.
And what I mean by boundaries is we have given them the world. Even, like, for instance, Jordans. I'm going to use that as the latest tennis shoe.
Yes.
I remember with our son, was probably 2 years old. He had so many pairs of shoes that he could not wear them all.
Right. He grew out of them.
And finally, I had to say, stop buying shoes. Like, he doesn't get a chance to wear them. They're sitting there. They're brand new, and we're having to give them away. And I think that type of mindset of giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, what did we teach them?
Right.
That all I had to do was put my hand out and you're going to give me.
That's right. That's right. 9 times out of 10.
My son is still 33 years old, and if he needs something, guess what he does? Mama. And guess what Mama does?
That's right. Well, hey, we started it. I always remember that slight agitation of having to ask my daddy for stuff. Listen, it's like I'm walking down the Green Mile, but it's like, yo.
Because did you know he was going to say no, or you didn't know what he was going to say?
He kept it consistent. Okay. Sometimes no, sometimes yes, but both of them came with a conversation. Gotcha. Okay, it just wasn't just get out my face or here's money. It was like, hey man, what are you doing? What are you doing with your money? Come on, man, money don't grow on trees, man. I gotta do this, take care of everybody. And then you want some money, you should have saved your money. You get a job, what are you doing? And so with my son, I don't give him money all the time. I don't. I give him enough when he does get money. I can't believe I give him the type of money I give him. My daddy never would have given me this money.
Tough love is hard.
Oh, I just gave him, his birthday was on Monday. I cashed out him $500.
Okay. Yeah, but that's what was in your heart to do.
I know, but my daddy never would have given me $500. I gave him $800 last summer when he first got here for the summer. My daddy never would have given me that. But he gave me cars. I had, by the time, this is sort of embarrassing to say, but by the time I bought my first car at 23, I had 7 cars.
You tore up every one.
I did. I tore up every one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't have that.
And he was buying little. It doesn't matter. He was selling cars. He wasn't bringing new cars, but they were cars.
The first car I had was a 1987 Toyota Celica, and I bought it myself.
Wow.
My parents never gave me a car.
I had a Celica too, a white one with a roof. Yeah.
I had a 5-speed.
A 5-speed too.
Hatchback.
I had that too.
That's the good thing.
It was a dope one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try to see. We all lost
transition. Yes, that's great. Let's get back to it.
Let's talk about once you graduated from high school in Chicago, you come back here. What was your mindset? College, work, hanging out, or what?
My mindset was initially I thought I wanted to go to college. That's what my mindset was, because again, that's ingrained in you growing up. Like you get out of high school, well, in some kids, let me say that. That's not instilled in all kids, but in our household, it was when you graduate, you're going to go to college.
Absolutely.
You know, you're going to select a field of study. You're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, yeah, I got admitted into Tennessee State University in the fall of 1986.
86, okay.
I lasted exactly one semester.
Really?
I was 16 years old.
Wow.
And I had no business on a college campus at 16.
Oh, my God.
No. So immediately, my grandparents.
Hold on, let me ask you this. What were some of your experiences at 16 on a college campus?
A whole mess.
Eyes wide.
In the zoo.
Talk about this.
I was in the zoo. I stayed in Wilson Hall on the 5th floor. And it was every sense of the word, Wilson Hall was a zoo.
Wow.
It was a zoo. I mean, it was... Oh my God, there was no responsibility at all.
Nothing.
There was nobody that would make you do anything. They did exactly what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it, when they wanted to do it, and who they wanted to do it with. So for a 16-year-old to see guys coming in and out of girls' dorm rooms and all this stuff, and you know, I'm like, oh, dear Lord.
Wow.
Like, you know, you're responsible for washing your own clothes. Guess what? I didn't wash my clothes. My mom did.
Right.
You know, yes, my mom had taught me how to wash, but it was sparingly when I washed. My mom washed. So, you know, you had to get yourself up to go to college. To go to class.
Right.
Well, in high school, I didn't have to be at school until 8:40.
Right.
So in college, you got an 8 o'clock class.
Right.
I don't like getting up. That's even now at almost 56 years old. I don't set an alarm clock.
Right.
So, you know, then you got to get yourself up for class and those type of things. And then you had to figure out financial aid and all those things. And I just wasn't in that mindset to do that. So after my first semester, I went to live with my grandparents and I got a job.
Wow.
And I started working. So I worked for the state of Tennessee.
Okay.
I was probably one of the youngest workers, full-time workers.
Had to be the youngest.
I was 17. I had turned 17 that past October. Wow. So I was 17. I went to work for the state of Tennessee, worked with them for a few years, went back to school a few years later at Nashville Tech.
Okay.
And ended up with my programming degree. I was actually a programmer. Went to IBM school. At that time, IBM was a big thing. Yes. I went to IBM school.
You wasn't thinking about nursing or anything like that?
No. Okay, nursing was the farthest from my mind. I never thought about being a nurse. So, you know, I started programming. I started working for a company. I was around 21 at that time. I started working for a company. This was shortly after I got married. And we had Michael when I was 22. Michael Jr. when we were 22. I was 22. Okay. Mike was 27. He's 5 years older than I am. So we had Michael Jr. and my dad got sick.
Okay.
And so my dad was sick, and I began taking care of my dad.
Got it.
That's when nursing became a focus.
Okay.
At 24, so February 18th, 1994, my dad passed. He had a massive stroke.
Sorry to hear that.
And that was actually, I was back at TSU at this time. I had done my undergrad. I was getting ready to submit my information to go into the nursing school, and my dad passed. So I kind of took a breather because I kind of dealt with a lot with my dad with his passing. My dad was divorced, and if anybody knows anything about probate court, let me tell you something. Don't deal with probate.
Have your stuff in order.
Have your stuff in order before, and let me say that cue right here. Before you pass, make sure that you either have things in a trust or will for your kids.
Right.
If you have property, make sure your kids' names are on that property.
Right.
So that when you pass, they don't have to do it in probate.
Right.
Make sure your bank accounts, your money market accounts, your stocks, all of those have a point of death on it so that your kids don't have to probate. Probate will take their money. That's all it does.
That's all it does.
So anyway, my dad passed. I stepped back, and then I went back to nursing school in fall of 1996.
How many years was the program? This is after undergrad, or was it?
No, this was before undergrad.
Okay,
so I was an LPN before I was ever an RN. So
Yeah.
I went back to LPN school because TSU had a waiting list, and I could not get in the program. So I was like, I need to work.
Right.
So I went to LPN school in the fall of 96, came out 97. Funny story about that. Found out I was pregnant with our second child while I was in nursing school.
Oh, you're getting busy. Okay, go ahead.
Nah, I wasn't getting busy. I just, honestly, Michael Jr. was going on 5.
5, okay.
Yeah, we thought I couldn't have any more children.
Wow.
Or I was told I couldn't have any more children. So anyway, had Alyssa. Had Alyssa September the 3rd, 1997. I went back to school September the 8th. She was 5 days old. I waddled in that class, sat down. I had 2 weeks left. September 17th, I walked with my practical nursing diploma. And I did that. I was a pediatric nurse for a long time.
Wow.
And I did not go back to school until 2007 to get my RN.
Wow.
So I went back in 2007, entered the LPN to RN program at TSU, got my RN in 2008, got my bachelor's in 2009, 2013 got my master's, and then in 2017, May of 2017, I got my doctor of nursing.
Oh, you got a hand clap for that. I'm just going to keep my little bachelor degree over here.
Trust me, if somebody had asked me though, son, if somebody had asked me during that time, would I have went that far, I would have said no. Because to be honest, I got my undergrad, so I got my associates and my bachelor's.
Right.
Well, right after I graduated with my bachelor's in 2009, the following year, my grandmother had a stroke. And I've always been one, especially with me being medical, I've been that person for the family.
Right.
And so when my grandmother had her stroke, stepped up, we put together this elaborate schedule. My grandmother was nonverbal after her stroke. She didn't talk. When she had her stroke, I believe she was 96 at the time, if I recall correctly.
96 is a long time to be
alive. And so we took care of her at home as a family. We had shifts. There was somebody on days, somebody on nights, 7 days a week. We were there. We took care of her. And I remember about a month or so before she passed, like I said, she was nonverbal. So she couldn't say
a word.
Every now and again she would say hi or bye, but there wasn't conversations like this anymore. But one night, I was staying with her one night and woke up one night, and when she had something she wanted, she beat on the side of the rail like, come here.
Yeah.
and so she point, different things or whatever. But this particular night, she woke me up and she pointed to a book that was on the bookshelf. And so I went and got the book and brought it back. I said, you want me to read I'm thinking, okay, maybe you want me to read the book.
Right.
Well, I opened the book and I was like, you can't want me to read this.
Right.
This is not something to read. But what I figured out what she was trying to say to me was, because I had put off going to grad school.
Okay.
Because we were taking care of her.
Right.
And she told me in so many words, don't put it off anymore, that I needed to go to grad school. And I said, is that what you're telling me, that you want me to go back to school? And she was like, yeah.
Wow.
And I went back to school that August. She passed that June, but I went back that August to school, and then I graduated a few years later with my master's. But after my master's, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't going back. If it wasn't for some doctors that I worked with.
Right.
And I'll shout them out here on the call because people know I worked for Vanderbilt at that time.
Okay.
And a big shout out to Vanderbilt University.
Right.
Vanderbilt paid for all of my degrees. My associate, bachelor's, master's, and my doctorate. Vanderbilt paid for all of them. But Dr. Alex Jahanger, and people probably remember that name because he was the voice of COVID for Nashville. But I worked closely with Alex, and he convinced me to go back to Vanderbilt to get my doctor of nursing.
How long did it take to get your doctorate?
I did 2 years. 2
years. That's not bad for a doctorate. Normally it's a 3 to 4 year program.
I did part-time I went in 2014 and I was done in 2016.
You have a covert, what do they call it?
Cohort.
Cohort. Okay, I said covert. Lord have mercy.
It's okay.
How many was in that cohort?
I don't remember.
You remember? Okay. So you get your degree, and first of all, you're highly decorated, and you're so humble about it. Because I didn't know you was a doctor to probably 4 years in friendship, because you don't tell nobody anything,
I don't.
Right. And that's cool, too. Nothing wrong with that. You're a doctor when you need to be a doctor, I guess.
Yeah, when I need to use it, I do.
Right.
But I think I've seen so many people that get stuck on the degrees they have.
Right.
And that's not bad, per se. But I think in a lot of ways, sometimes people feel that they're not relatable.
Yeah.
And that they're not humble. And, when I talk to them, they're always up here.
Right.
And I never wanted to be that person.
Wow. So you get your doctorate. What's after that? Like, what's your mindset? You have a family. You're highly educated. Now what? You're at the top of your field. Now what?
So now you got decisions to make. So is it, okay, am I gonna teach? What am I gonna do? The thing with me, and I think this is what really gets a lot of people, is the things with me is I'm constantly reaching for something else.
Got it.
Whereas some people get satisfied where they are. And I'm not saying I'm not satisfied, I am. But I think what drives me is helping people.
Okay.
Is helping people.
Okay.
So I decided to teach, and actually taught at my HBCU. I was an adjunct professor for a while at Tennessee State. I actually had the opportunity to be a part of a startup program at MDHA, where they took ladies out of the public housing and actually put them in an LPN program. So I oversaw that program.
Okay.
I still keep in contact with a lot of those ladies because it was a big accomplishment for them. Many of them have gone on from LPN to RNs, and it's been good to watch that as well. Matter of fact, I still mentor. I just had somebody reach out day before yesterday over the weekend, asked me if I still mentor, if they wanted to refer someone to me, and I was like, sure. I don't mind helping or even talking about it, because Nursing school is not easy.
It can't be.
By any means.
Was it easy back then?
No.
Okay.
If anybody said it was easy, they're lying.
They're lying.
No.
What's the difficulty of it? Like, why is it so difficult? I know why it's difficult, but what, in the midst of it, what makes it difficult?
Well, because I think there's a lot of things that we don't equate. It's not the matter of taking care of people. I think for women and for some men, that comes easy because we can be nurturers by easy. But when it comes to nursing school, you got to learn all the systems of the body. And you got to learn what they impact, how to treat them, what medications they use, all those type of things. So, and medicine itself is constantly evolving.
Yes.
You know, where I started out then is not where I am now. I'm in healthcare AI now. I never saw myself in artificial intelligence.
Okay.
But that's what I do all day long.
Right.
Now. I've always known that I was a leader, but I really never saw myself. I'm a senior director. I've been asked if I wanted to be an AVP. I don't want them headaches. I got enough headaches as a senior director.
Right.
But I don't. I'm blessed. Let me say that.
Yeah.
I don't take it for granted.
Right.
I am blessed. I'm blessed to do what I do, and not just in my profession, but even in my walk with Christ.
Right.
That's not easy either.
Right.
But I try to, my motto is I treat people the way I want to be treated. And if I treat them that way, then I'm going to get back what I give.
Right.
And that's basically all I do.
Wow, I respect that. Do you see at your level, I'm assuming you're close to the top of the food chain, if they're asking you to be the AVP, do you see many African Americans at that level?
No.
Because
Because
I'm assuming you go to a lot of conferences around the country.
I do. So with my company, one of the products that we have is a case management product that's sold across the country in various hospitals. I probably can count the times on one hand that I've seen an African American that was in leadership at those hospitals where I go for case management. I don't see many women like me. I come in and I may see workers, and I've had people to even ask me, like, it's so refreshing to see an African American woman. And I'm like, it is, because I don't see very many that look like me.
I got a question for you. Why do you think God chose you for this path? Coming from, listen to your story, East Nashville, Chicago, graduating early, a baby on a grown folk campus, dealing with that, the tragedy and trauma in your family. Why do you think he chose you for that path to get to this level of success?
I have asked myself that same question.
That's a good question. That's one of the most wonderful questions right there.
Well, because in a lot of ways, and I'm trying to get my emotion out of it, I think he knew I could handle it.
Okay. Wow.
Not because I wanted to.
Right.
Because I had to.
You had to.
And that's the difference.
Wow. Because if you had to, maybe you wouldn't have gone through that path.
At all. You would have avoided it.
Right.
And I think that's the beauty in it for me, is that it wasn't because I wanted to, because I definitely wouldn't have chose that path.
You just saw certain doors opening kind of along the way.
You did. Right. I remember, and I'll go back to Vanderbilt. I worked at Vanderbilt almost 10 years, and I remember I got my master's degree. I'll never forget it. Got my master's degree, and there are things that start to go in your head, because I was a director at Vanderbilt as well. So I'm thinking, okay, I got 3 degrees. Somebody's going to see my worth.
Right.
Because I've worked hard. This is, the path that I've chosen, or really not the path I chose, the path that chose me.
Right.
And when I got my master's degree, I remember my boss saying that they would not reward me for my master's degree.
Wow.
And most oftentimes, jobs will give you some type of increase with the degrees that you get.
Right.
So I didn't get anything. So I began to look for a job, and I'll never get it. Applied at several hospital systems here in Nashville.
Right.
I ended up working for HCA at the corporate office.
Okay.
And I had asked Vanderbilt for just a slight bump in salary. But when I interviewed for the job at HCA, I got more than a slight bump.
Right.
I got a $25,000 pay increase.
Bars.
Which, right. You know, and I thought, I just asked you all, not even for 10%.
Right.
And you couldn't give me that, but they gave me this.
Why do you think that happened? They saw your value?
Because they recognized the degrees that I had, along with the years of experience that I had. And so I worked at HCA for almost 5 years. Now, when my mom passed, that's a whole nother, thing. I've talked candidly, openly with you about my mom. My mom had ALS. For people that don't know, that's Lou Gehrig's disease. It is the worst of the scleroses that you could ever have. And my mom was diagnosed late in the stages of it. Matter of fact, from the time of diagnosis to the time that she passed was exactly 8 months.
Wow.
When we noticed things were happening. But after my mom passed, I didn't have the desire to be in corporate part. Now, I was recruited for the company that I work for now. So a headhunter came and got me for this one. So, but what I will say is I work for Exelis, and I've posted about that on my social media too. And I'm a senior director, and I had a very unique opportunity at Exelis. I was one of the first clinical nurses to work in the space of that artificial intelligence, and I had the opportunity to build my department on my own. So I was able to shape who I wanted, how I wanted to pick them, interview, those type of things. And the one thing about being a leader that I always tell people, it's not about what I know. It's about what the people that I surround myself around me with, what they know.
That's called effective leadership.
Right. And so I've never been that leader that thought that I knew it all. But I always surrounded myself with individuals. There were specific things that I picked out in each person that I didn't know in my field. But they brought that experience, and collectively together, we made good. And so I've been at Exelis 8 years, and I've been promoted several times, 2-3 times now that I've been there. But they blessed me. I've been able to write professional articles. Becker's Report has several. Just wrote an article a few months ago that was published. So, I still love what I do. Right. People are like, are you going to retire? No, not anytime soon. Right. Because I love what I do. Right. So, but
that's an amazing story. Seemingly God chose you for these paths. And you see people that are leaders, they come from tough situations. You know what I mean? And they find strength in the work, in the difficulty of it. You talk about being a leader and picking people to do things you can't do. That's what effective coaches do. That's what the head coach do for any football or basketball team. They get guys that know more than what they know in a specific area and how the best at their field. And that uplifts the whole team. Right. You know what I mean? And so with that's encouraging, seeing a black woman mentoring people in those fields. So I'm sure the people that you've chosen have moved on to bigger.
They have.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you want.
They have.
That's what you want.
They have. You don't lead just to be on an island by yourself. You shouldn't. Let me say that. if you're transformative, if you're innovative, you
Right.
shouldn't be leading just to be on this island by
Right.
yourself. You always should be pushing people
Mm.
before you.
Right.
You know, I even say that in church. You know, one of the problems with the church is we see churches that age because we don't pull anybody up with us.
Got it. Exactly. Until it's too late.
Even then, you may not pull anybody.
That's true.
But the church wasn't meant to be on an island alone. And the church is a living, breathing organism that God said it needs to go forth.
That's right.
So you still got to pull people up with you.
That's right. Or you have a church full of the elderly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sister Jenkins is 75, 80, still doing the same thing.
Right.
You got to move forward.
You do.
So now you're at the top of your field. You've been at this job for 8 years. So what's next for you? I know you do a lot of mentoring. I got a question. A friend of mine wanted me to ask you. Okay. She wanted me to ask you, how do we get young kids in our school system to be nurses? What can we do to give them the information to go down that field in nursing? Or is there a shortage of nurses?
There is. So there's a huge nursing shortage right now. Unfortunately, as a result of COVID,
yes,
we have saw the numbers declining. Even before COVID, they were declining. What I really wished that even Metro would do is in a few of their schools, implement some system, whether it's CNA or something that would spike the interest so that they would have something when they got out of school and then they could migrate on over to something else. Whether it's CNA and I'm going to go be a practical nurse even, and then, you know, but have some way to do that, because I think you got to look at it 10, 15 years from now, who's going to be there to take care of us?
That's right. Exactly right.
Who? I'm going to be real honest.
Yeah.
Some of the nurses that I've encountered these days can't critically think through things.
Right.
And that's problematic for me.
Right.
Which is one of the reasons why I step out and do what I do.
Right.
Because our profession will eat their young. And I know there'll probably be some nurses watching don't like what I'm saying, but it's the truth. We eat our young, and that's not fair.
Right. What do you mean by that, eat your young?
That means they're green, they don't know anything, and we'll eat them up, chew them up, spit them out. To the point, exactly, that they're ready to go out of the profession. That we were once green too.
That's right.
We were once didn't know anything either. And if it wasn't for somebody taking us under their wing and teaching us some things, we wouldn't have lasted either.
Wow.
So my thought is, can we not always extend grace?
Right.
Because if we extend grace, then others will extend grace.
But do you have time for grace and mercy in that type of field?
Yes, you do. Why not? I remember COVID came, and I had a nurse that I was mentoring. She had just graduated. She's an NP now, great nurse.
Yes.
She was young then. She worked at Metro General, and they threw her on a COVID unit. She was a brand new nurse.
Wow.
Brand new.
Wow. 12-hour shifts.
Yes. Didn't know how to properly put on PPE.
Okay.
Didn't properly know how to put on her respiratory mask. Didn't know how to do any of those things.
That's dangerous.
It is. She called me every other day for weeks. And I said, hold on, baby. Just hold on. Let's talk through it. Let's talk through what you do. Make sure when you get home, you enter in through your garage, have a tub stripped right there. Go into your house. Go into your house naked. Take a shower. Leave all that in the garage. Come back and deal with it after you've cleaned. And put your own mask on, spray it down or whatever before you put it in the wash and do all of those things. Because nobody's telling them how to do things. And guess what? We all had to learn.
Right.
We had to learn how to clean a house.
Right.
Mama didn't just give you some Comet and some Clorox and say, go in the bathroom. I'm sorry. I'm just throwing the comment out there.
I'm thinking Comet. My mother just put it on the bathtub and go leave. Season the bathtub.
But our parents, we were taught how to clean.
That's right. But let me tell you something, though. The expectation for nurses is that you know it. You're telling me a lot of nurses at that time of COVID didn't know what was going on.
No.
But what we see...
Let me tell you something. When I was in nursing school, I put PPE on one time.
Okay.
Once. Never had to do it again.
Wow.
So, I only did it once.
Right.
And I'm sorry, none of us have seen a pandemic.
Right. Exactly.
We were told about it in the nursing book.
Right.
But we've never seen it for ourselves.
Learning on the fly.
You're learning as you go.
Wow.
Because guess what? God forbid you come home and infect your whole family.
Right. Right.
So.
Yeah, did you catch COVID?
I had it once.
I had it in 2019 before it was COVID. The name, I knew it. I can recall when I had it. I can show you the pictures. I was hurting bad, eyes red. Thought I had the flu. So I was taking day flu. NyQuil day flu. That day flu. And then 2020, my dad had passed away, which he probably would have passed away from COVID. I had my hip replacement surgery. Had to go to the hospital in 2020. So there's a lot of stuff going on with me. Then I had another in 2022. So my dad passed away right before I had the surgery. But by that time, he had shingles. He had lung cancer, he had just a bunch of stuff, man. He was just tired, man. He was tired.
Yeah, I had it in 2021. I caught it in September. Matter of fact, my granddaughter gave it to me.
Shout out to the granddaughter. Wow.
My Mia Joe. I love her dearly, but...
How old is she now?
She's 5.
5, wow.
But she had COVID. Matter of fact, many of us got it. My husband didn't. My son did. His wife did. But we got it. And it was because of who I knew at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alicia Bean. If she ever listens to this.
Yeah.
I made a phone call, and Alicia Bean moved some mountains for me and got me in, and because I have asthma.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And so immediately my breathing was affected, and my doctor was like, yeah, I want you to go to the ER. I was like, no, that's not happening.
Right.
That's not happening. So made a phone call and got some IVIG, a nice immunoglobulin put in that they were giving people to help fight COVID. I did that, and it actually did help. My taste and smell was messed up for a while. Matter of fact, my smell still is not.
Really?
It's not right even 5 years later, but it's all good. I'm alive to tell the story.
That's right.
That's where some people are not. Right. But it's a different world now, and for nursing students, I just hope they realize the sacrifices that others have made. It's a great profession.
It is.
And I tell people all the time, I've never wanted for a job. Never. There's so many different opportunities beside the bedside. You don't have to stay at the bedside.
That's what I was thinking up until you just said that. Nursing, bedside, that's all that there is.
You do not have to stay at the bedside. There are so many areas, not just in the hospital, but outside of the hospital, that you can go in and be a nurse and do what you do.
Wow. I wish I would have known that.
Yeah.
Is it too late for me to be a nurse?
No, not at all.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I can't focus. I can't focus.
You can't focus?
It's hard, but it's hard.
I'm going to need you to change that.
It's hard. I'm on the downside of this thing anyway. I'm on the third quarter of life.
Well, yeah, I'm on the third quarter, but I'm I'm still going to stay in it for a minute.
We're going to stay to fight. So I want to get back to another question because we winding down, which is good. I got everything out of you that I wanted to pull out.
Okay.
I want to talk about the mentoring of young adults. This is one of my issues with metro schools. They don't teach these type of fields. This is auto body, cosmetology, things like that, as well as this is a very important field.
Do they even do those anymore?
I can't recall. I would say yes and no, to be honest with you. I know maybe Maplewood has a big program with auto body. Definitely not cosmetology, but I could be wrong. But it's so many kids that don't know about the nursing program. How do you think we can fix that in Metro?
Well, I think number one, somebody has to come up with a plan or a proposal and put it before them. Now, honestly, I thought that one of the schools did have a proposal and were actively doing it for nursing.
Right.
I just can't remember what school that is, but I do believe that there is one. Now, in my opinion, I think not just, like you said, auto mechanics, auto body, cosmetology. I think we need to get back to those roots anyway. I mean, when you think about it, when we were in school, some came out with jobs in a profession, especially those that were cosmetology. They came out, they got their cosmetology license. They went on, they got their own. They may have went back to school and did something else, but they came out with some kind of trade.
Right.
And we don't have trades that are readily available in school anymore. Right. And we need those.
That's right. I agree.
Because those are the things that really helped us in becoming who we are today. If I had never, think about it. High school, I learned how to type.
Okay.
That was a big
Typing.
thing. You had to learn how to type.
Right.
Who does that anymore? Right. These children aren't even taught how to do cursive writing.
You should see my son write his name. Bro, we gotta do better.
Well, I'm going to tell you a prime example. 4 years ago, I made my daughter buy a condo. Okay. She was able, credit great, she could do it. Market wasn't what it was today.
Right.
We went into the title company for her to purchase it. She did this scribble. And the loan officer looked at her and she said, "No, ma'am." She said, "I need a proper signature." She said, "This is not acceptable."
Right.
Because we can't tell if this is even remotely close to your name.
Right, exactly.
So my daughter said, "I don't know how to write in cursive, Mom. They didn't teach us that in school." And I whipped my head around. I said, "They didn't what?"
Wow.
She said, "No, we didn't learn how to do cursive writing in school." And I thought, how asinine is that?
She had the old school third grade writing. I know my son does the same thing. It's like one single letter with a space in between, kind of rounding letters.
Yeah. She did the one first letter, A, and scribbled the rest of it. And I thought, listen, that's not going to work. So it took us 30 minutes to teach her how to do cursive so she could do a proper signature. But I'm just saying, things that we grew up on, having trades, and they're talking to us about trades. We don't spend time talking to kids about trades anymore.
No, we don't.
And if we did that, then the interest would be there. We want to prop them up. Oh, you can be a doctor. You can be a lawyer. Everybody is not going to be a doctor.
That's right.
Everybody's not going to be a lawyer. Right. Everybody's not going to be an independent business owner either.
That's right.
I'm sorry. You're going to work harder owning your own business. I have a consulting business. You're going to work harder owning that.
That's right.
Than you will working a traditional 9-to-5 job.
Absolutely.
But we're not teaching them that. They get these facades from social media that make it seem like, well, I can go do that. I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. And you ought to see the resumes that come before me with people that have jobs and they getting a job. They ain't staying at jobs 6-8 months a year. Right. They changing jobs every 8, 9, 10 months. What? No. Where's your longevity for a job?
That's tough.
You're not stable.
That's tough. So we're going to end right here. We could go on and on and
on. And on forever.
I'd like to thank, what's your name again? Dr. Reverend Good Dr. Paula.
Just call me Michelle, please.
Michelle, okay.
Thank you.
You got a long name. I need to write this down. Dr. Paula Michelle Gordon-Wyatt.
Oh, okay.
I got it. Something like that. I'm going to work on it.
You did. You had the full name.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you for coming here.
Thank you.
And I think highly of you. I think the word of you. I think that Nashville is better because of you, because there's not many black women in these prominent positions. And you're so humble about it. And you want to share your knowledge and help young people. And I think we need to put that out there in a good way. You know what I mean? And you're humble, and you can sing. She has a beautiful voice. And so I'm not going to ask you to sing this time, but the next time you come on, because you see like the hum, okay? But the next time you come on, I definitely want you to sing a song. But any parting words for the people in podcasting land? Anything else you want to say?
I just tell everybody to stay positive, stay up, stay woke, as they say.
Oh, my goodness.
And treat people the way you want to be treated. And I guarantee it'll come back to you tenfold. Absolutely.
People, and do me a favor, go to the channel on YouTube at The High Table with David Sutherland, and you'll see this interview and other interviews that I post real shortly. They're pretty good. I'm getting better at this thing, okay? I got my late night R&B voice. Y'all have a good night, a good day, good evening. Be nice to somebody.
Thank
Peace.
You. Peace.